Hey there everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon. Well, it seems like every week or so, Mother Nature likes to settle us down here in Western Washington and kind of tell us like, hey, I need you to sit down and cool down because you've gotten way too hot. And it likes to reset us. And well, like we've seen here, over the past 24 hours, we have been reset. After seeing a couple of days in the mid-80s, temperatures today back in the 60s and the 70s. So that trend continues. And well, at least we see one more day that it's going to be a bit cooler. But the thing is, we're going to start to notice more of this heat taking over and probably taking over for a longer duration of time. And maybe even getting a bit more extreme as we head on into next week. More on that here in a second. Let's first talk about, yes, those last 14 days, last 2 weeks for us, last 15 days as a matter of fact. And you can see that trend after cooling down for a couple of days in the 60s and low 70s. Then our temperatures get back up into more of those mid to upper 80s. Well, we saw that the past couple of days, and then today we saw highs start to fall back down. Now, more on that here in a second. I wanted to show you with our system that we did get at least a little rain out of it up towards Bellingham. Quileute getting up closer to about 1/3 to 1/2 inch of rain. Lesser amounts as you head farther south, and definitely much lesser amounts as you head down here around Puget Sound and the Kitsap Peninsula, where there was hardly, if anything, really reported out at those airports and those reporting sites. Now, temperatures, yes, you can see those numbers in the low 70s around Bremerton, Tacoma, and in Seattle, mid-60s in Port Townsend, 61 in Hoquiam, 64 in Quileute. So we did see the cool down, and the trend, well, it continues for now, but we are going to see those changes, and it looks like more of a longer stretch of heat on the way for us. Now, wanted to show you some numbers on that. Days at or above 80 degrees here on average are going to be about 28 days during the course of a year. So far, we've seen 11 of those days. As far as 90-degree temperatures, well, we usually see about 3 of those days throughout the year, and so far we've only hit 1 of those days, and no days have been above or at 95 degrees out at SeaTac Airport. Yes, we do expect to see numbers getting close to that, but hopefully it looks like we're going to say just shy of that. But we are definitely looking at a much warmer stretch as we head on into next week, as models are starting to hint at that being the case next Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are going to be your key days to keep an eye out for that really high heat. Ahead of that, yeah, we do get this cooler day tomorrow and then back in the low to mid 80s, which is something we can handle, but it does start to get a bit too warm for a few of us. Westport, cloudy skies there, and we are going to keep those clouds throughout the night. Maybe even see a few sprinkles out that way. Looking at our SchoolNet site up this way around Granite Falls, we actually get to see some light convergence zone activity helping us out with a few light showers. Now that's been more mist and more of those patchy areas of drizzle. Not a whole lot of heavy rain out of any of those showers up that way, but something that we're going to keep an eye on as we head into the night, because those will be the locations that will continue to have the best chances of seeing some of that rain. Down this way around Seattle, I think our chances are pretty much just 0. We're at 65 right now and seeing mainly cloudy skies, and a lot of the moisture is staying well north of us. At least we got the wind though, and that's helping to cool us down and will keep us a bit cooler here as we head on into the night, as we see generally cloudy skies and more of the dry, cloudy weather. 24-hour temperature change. Check out this change from this point yesterday. We're down by about 6 to 15 degrees across most of our locations, especially the closer you get to the I-5 corridor. Out towards the coast, that cool air was already beginning to arrive, so we're pretty close to where we were at this point. Temperatures right now in the mid to upper 60s for most of our locations. Now this is as of about 8 p.m., so it is cooling down, and we still continue to see more of that cool down here into the night. Was talking about those light showers that we were seeing up across more of Snohomish and Skagit County up there around areas closer to Granite Falls. And this is what's going on. We have some weak convergence zone activity that's helping to develop those. And once we head on into the latter part of the night, we really don't see that change a whole lot. So it still might be quite damp if you're heading out the door early tomorrow morning. And we do have another little small piece of moisture that's going to be coming through our atmosphere, helping to enhance some of the light shower activity out towards the coast. Looking at that on Futurecast, you can kind of see that that continues here for areas there closer to Snohomish County and for spots out towards the coast. We continue to see some of those areas of moisture helping to reduce some of the few showers that we're going to see here throughout the night, and really the only chances of rain that we're going to see here for quite some time. As we continue on here into tomorrow morning, that's 5 to 6 o'clock. You can see some of those sprinkles or patchy drizzle beginning to arrive out towards the coast. Now, it's not going to make much headway farther east. That's because we still got just limited moisture, and it's not going to be enough to help to reduce some of that shower activity for us closer to Tacoma or Federal Way, Seattle, Bellevue. We're going to keep things dry into our day on Thursday. What we will notice, though, is that the cloud coverage, that's going to stick with us, and that hangs around into maybe the early afternoon. Mid to late afternoon, here we are at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, and we're beginning to see those clouds break apart. And the later they break apart, well, the cooler things get. The earlier, well, we could see some mid to perhaps upper 70s if that's the case. But we'll keep things mainly clear heading into tomorrow night. Maybe a few patchy clouds early into the start of your Friday. Here you go, especially out towards the coast where we could see some of that fog with the marine air. That's going to be in place for us at that point. And then we'll head into the afternoon, seeing plenty of sunshine throughout the day. And we'll keep that warm up going because that's when this ridge of high pressure really will start to get his act together. And by the latter half of the weekend and heading on into the start of next work week, we'll see that firmly in place. Now, additional rain, don't get too excited. Up that way around Snohomish, Skagit County, some of those light sprinkles or patchy areas of drizzle could add up to maybe 1/10 of an inch. Outside of there, though, we're talking about a lot of zeros popping up. Another area we can keep an eye out for that happening, parts of the central and south coast as well. All right, let's talk about this ridge of high pressure. When you see more of the deeper reds out over the Pacific, that is where that ridge is centered. And if that was right overhead, we were talking about this yesterday, that would mean that things would get really hot for us. It's not, though, and thankfully it doesn't look like it's going to be coming right overhead for us, but it is going to be getting closer as we hope in the next few days. And with that being the case, that's why we continue to see that heat building. Here we are Sunday, and you can see it's getting a bit closer, or at least some of those darker reds approaching parts of the Pacific Northwest. And then you can see more of those darker reds across British Columbia beginning to pop up there. And as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, that's going to sweep on through and eventually help us to heat up quite a bit. Now, late into Wednesday evening, heading into Thursday, you can see that little carving out of the lighter oranges and even some yellows. That's where we're going to have a weak trough move through, and that's going to help to cool things down, maybe add a few clouds in the area, and hopefully break some of the high heat that we're going to have in place as we head on into that point. So it won't be a long-lived heat wave if we are going to deal with one, but definitely are expecting to see temperatures getting quite a bit above their averages as we head on into next week. Now, what are those averages? 77 degrees is the average high. So tomorrow we're going to be below that again, but we'll see more 80s starting up on Friday all the way through Tuesday, and then possibly get up into the 90s. We got a few days, so maybe some of this can change, but wanted to get the word out for you if you need to have any plans for you to start to prepare as we head on into that point of time. Tonight's lows dropping down into the low to mid 50s in a lot of our spots, and then highs tomorrow going to top off right around 69 there in Bellingham. Blaine up to that same number, and Orcas Island at 68 degrees. Anacortes up to 66. Farther south here as we get closer to Granite Falls, 71 there. Snohomish County, we're at 73 in Monroe. 67 for us in Coopville, 69 in Linwood. We'll see highs around the low 70s in Shoreline. Redmond, Renton up to 74 degrees. Auburn topping off at 74. Bremerton up to 71. Paulsville hitting 71 degrees. And more low to mid 70s down this way around Olympia, Belfair, Yelm, Tenino, and in Tacoma. With the spots as you head farther south along the I-5 corridor there, getting closer to Castle Rock and Longview in the mid-70s, and more of our 60s out towards the coast. Even some 50s would be possible. Tahola up to 59, 67 in Hump Tulips, and topping off at 60 degrees in Lake Crescent. Here's your 7-day forecast, and next couple of days, probably more of your comfortable days, especially tomorrow as we'll keep highs in those low to mid 70s. And once we get those clouds out of here, it's going to be a really nice evening. And for the next couple of days after that, heading into the start of the weekend, the heat not really getting too out of hand yet, but definitely will continue to stress what might be happening and might be on the way for us by next Tuesday and Wednesday as highs start to approach the 90-degree mark. All right, everyone, so enjoy the brief cool down that we have for a while. And for those of you who are warm weather fans, get ready for some of the heat that will be around heading on into this upcoming weekend. Take care. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.